Hey everybody, welcome to Brick Vault. Today is another wonderful day because I get to show you guys the Giga Horse from Mad Max Fury Road. This is and was Immortan Joe's vehicle, being the king of this world, or at least the main clan we see throughout the movie. This body of a beast is not one but two Cadillac Coupe de Villes smashed together. Those are the king of the road after all, so it's pretty fitting that the king would have something like this made out for him. And it's not just a couple of bodies mashed together, it's two V8s, some tractor tires, a harpoon gun, and a flamethrower. In this world of waste, this is the ultimate symbol of wealth and power. You can even tell by how cleanly it's really kept. And in real life, for the production of the movie, this team clocked the vehicle in at around 77 miles per hour, which is roughly 125 kilometers per hour. It has 12,000 horsepower, and this is the product of one twisted imagination and an even more twisted group of crazy mechanics to get this animal into existence. I could go on about the incredible spectacle of Mad Max Fury Road as a movie and the lengths that the creators went in order to make it, but this is about the Lego Giga Horse, so we'll focus on that. And by the way, you can find the instructions for this mock at our web store, www.brickvault.toys. Included is a PDF file for step-by-step building instructions and a parts list file for uploading the pieces that you're going to need quickly and easily online. Purchasing instructions is a great way to help support the channel and your fellow creators, like the designer of this mock here, Nikola. Now rocking full force into the details of this build, you can see the Giga Horror rests pretty tall even in Lego. When referencing the size of this thing in universe, I'd say it's easily over minifig scale, maybe double, and for a model that's based on power and relishes in excess, this extra size gives space for a bit more detail, which I think it definitely needs. We have to start at the double V8s first, because honestly, I may have never seen such a wonderful combination of macaroni pieces before. The bending pipes have a kind of fluidity rarely found in a mechanically focused build like this, and they match well with the offset foundations for the double engines. I didn't confirm this with the builder, but I feel like this build started at the engines and everything else was added around it. The front grille is oversized with riveted steel. Those wing plate pieces catch that detail quite well, and as you move back, there are shocks built behind the front tires, or at least the build that looks like shocks, and a couple of massive exhausts with bucket pieces used at the end to make it look like they're getting a bit wider as they go further out. As we hit the interior, this is where the upscale is the most noticeable for sure. One of my favorite features of the mock is how easy it is to access the inside. The doors do open like they should, but because so much of the roof is attached through these kind of basic clips, you can actually just fold the whole thing open. There are a few studs here and there that keep the pieces in place, but it comes apart relatively easily and sticks back together quite well. Inside, you have the equivalent of what looks like two car seats for babies, even though those are the standard minifig seats, and there's a lot of open space. I don't know how many figs you can fit in here in total, but it's very roomy and there are stairs that lead to the back. And here we've got the two main points of defense / attack. The flamethrower is pretty recognizable for obvious reasons, and the harpoon gun can actually shoot out a spike because it is built with a stud gun. There is a chain also attached to this build, but it's mostly just for show. When it comes to the very back now, we've got two large flags, one in red, one in black, and two sets of spiky black fins. That's also a pretty recognizable feature of not just the Coupe de Ville from 1959, but a lot of those old big cars from back then as well. You can see the Giga Horse has some built-in suspension that can actually bounce up and down pretty well. And like Nikola's war rig, he decided to build in a steering function. The gear that pops out in the back can operate the turning of the wheels. It's a pretty smooth function all around, and I really like the placement because you can control the whole vehicle with one hand, which is a pretty solid way to actually play with this thing if that's what you wanted to do. Now, I do like to pick up and handle each mock to give you guys an idea of how well each model can be handled and moved around. I wouldn't say this build is delicate, but when you look underneath, there are a lot of exposed bits of mechanical detailing. Most of these parts are strong because they actually serve a functional purpose, but a few are more like greebling and can kind of pop off if you blindly pick up the MOC from the bottom, which, I mean, is kind of a natural way of wanting to pick up a car, vehicle, or something built in LEGO. Usually the bottoms are quite strong, but there are a few little pieces that might pop off for this one. Obviously, you wouldn't pick this thing up from the roof either because of how easily it can fold open. And the only other part of the MOC that I would say you might want to be wary of is the very front. That hood bumper is not weight bearing. Not delicate, just not as strong as maybe the back or other parts of the body. Remember, this MOC is designed to be played with, like with the steering function, so it's not like something you have to handle particularly careful, but it's a build that you should probably familiarize yourself with a bit before trying to really play around with it. Looking at this model as a whole, I gotta say, this is probably my favorite vehicle from Mad Max Fury Road. There's an absolute massive amount of history behind each of the cars that you see in the movie, and I believe this LEGO creation really does capture that kind of insane and really powerful stance that this vehicle gives off. And alright, wrapping it up, remember you can find the instructions at our web store. That's www.brickvault.toys. Everything is linked in the description below, and if you enjoy our content, you can always like or subscribe. If you have any ideas about another MOC you'd like to see us do in the future, let us know in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time at Brick Vault.